All right, check this view out, and with the overhanging cherry blossoms. I am currently in Deep Cove in North Vancouver, BC, and I am parked literally right where we are standing, and what a way to come to Deep Cove. I wanted to do this one early on my bucket list, early in the spring in April, because I know I would not find a parking spot like this later in the year, but this is one of the places when someone's visiting me, and it's one of the first places I take them to because we can usually catch up here, find a picnic blanket or a bench, and just enjoy the views. And if they're a slightly more adventurous person, we usually try stand-up paddle boarding. So I am excited to paint with you here today, and let's walk down the hill and see what we can see, although I almost want to just paint straight here from the car. But as you can hear, there's a parking lot right here, so let's go closer to the water. up and have the painting that I did today. And so heading back to the car, which is just up the hill, and you get to see the view behind me. I'm not super happy with the painting, but that's also my initial reaction, and I've been sitting out here for a while and probably need a snack. But I have painted this view a number of times before, and it's one of my better selling prints. So I see it all the time. So I know what I'm capable of painting this view. So when it's not working out, or it's not of similar caliber, I've set myself up for disappointment. However, sitting in the same spot for a long time, watching the clouds roll through, a couple times the sun came through and just lit up those hills, or just highlighted a really cool spot on the scene. So I quickly was taking my camera out to take photos of that. So I got some really great reference shots for when I go back and paint in the studio. This view is actually a highly requested painting from me. I've painted it twice, both those pieces have sold, and people always ask for it. So sitting here watching the clouds go by and seeing what gets lit up in the scene and what gets highlighted was really, really cool. So I'm just gonna put this backpack in the car and then wander around some more and maybe get some other angles, not just from the same vantage spot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. One thing I'm considering is painting this view in my studio and sharing what I would do in a studio setting rather than in plein air. And as I improve and as I hone my outdoor practice, please subscribe and follow along on my outdoor adventure as I show you some cool places in Vancouver and I paint them.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go, easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. Willows.
Alright, so I'm back in my studio, and here's the painting I did yesterday of Deep Cove on location. And I also have on my computer screen a photograph of the same location that I took while I was painting. And I've edited it a little bit in Photoshop to get the contrast and the values and the colors the way I like it before I start painting. And I thought I would paint the same image in my studio just to get a feel for what would it look like if I was in a more controlled environment. Because right now, usually when I'm painting in my studio, I do much bigger pieces and I also do a lot of glazing. And so when I go out on location, my paintings are much smaller and there's no glazing. So I have this expectation of what I can do, especially yesterday, because I've painted Deep Cove before. I really wanted to, or I knew what I could do, but I didn't even get close to that. So I thought, let's just see what it looks like when I paint indoors. And I thought I would share the process with you. You get to see a little bit of my indoor process as well, and some of my glazing techniques. And yeah, I'm excited to share with you, and I'm excited to see how it'll turn out, especially when I can compare them. So the big thing I wanted to do was make sure that I do the same location and the same size. So I have a brand new 12 by 16 canvas ready to go. I got a few of these in this size because this is the size I wanted to paint outdoors. and let's see what happens. All right, I'll put this one to the side, put this one up here. So here are the final two paintings. The one on the left is the one I did outdoors, and the one on the right is the one I did indoors. And it's so interesting to me to see how the scene was interpreted by a photograph, and then I interpreted the photograph to paint in my studio, because I was certain that I would like it better. But after having these hanging on my wall for a week and continually looking back at them, I actually like the Plein Air one because I feel like the mountains have a lot more depth. Now, the brushwork I'm not as happy with. I prefer squeezing out a lot more paint and having really smooth, fluid brush strokes, which I was able to achieve in my studio when I had time and space to mix as much paint as I wanted. I think I really like aspects of each one. And what excites me the most is this is actually showing me that there is a lot of value to going and painting outdoors, because it is a lot of work and a lot of thought to go paint outdoors, and how it can improve my indoor practice. Because if I just paint from the photograph, those mountains don't get as much depth. And a lot of the details that I was able to capture in the plein air painting, I didn't capture in the studio piece. But likewise, in the studio piece, I got the colors I wanted. And so if I continually go back and forth, hopefully there's a progression where they will start looking more and more similar. So this was a really fun activity to do, and I hope to do it again in the future. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. Please like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for me continuing to work on my plein air practice. And thank you so much for watching. See you next painting. Bye now.